Thank you. All protocols observed to the Honorable Minister, to the INEC Commissioner, and to everybody here today. I am Banky W, and I also look like a youth. I also am a youth. And I'm a youth that dreams of a strong, greater Nigeria. I dream of the day in Nigeria when we finally live up to our potential as citizens, as leaders, and as a country. I dream of the day when we will finally light up Nigeria. Amen. I dream of a day in Nigeria when we no longer choose to tolerate the way things have always been by saying things like, oh, it's Nigeria and God day. Because if we continue to do those things, nothing will ever change. Albert Einstein once said that insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The bad news is big wheels turn slow, and as we all know in this room, Nigeria is a very big wheel. I don't think, even with all the noise that we make about Light Up Nigeria and issues like that, I don't think any of us expect to go back home after this conference and have constant electricity. The good news is that even though they turn slow, big wheels do turn or they're replaced. Another great man said that every country deserves the leadership that it elects, that it has. We deserve the leadership that we put in there. And it is up to us, the young people, to hold the leaders that we put in accountable for the promises that they make when they're campaigning to us and for the offices that they currently occupy. There's a reason why they call it public service. Government is public service. You're a servant to the people that elected you first, with all due respect. I'm not going to take too much time, but I strongly feel like if the youth do not stand up and become the architects of Nigeria's future, the opportunity will pass us by, and we will have failed ourselves and our future generations. I don't know about any of you, I don't have any kids yet, but I don't want my unborn children to come and face the exact same issues that I am facing today, that we're all facing today in Nigeria. Change begins with us, and when I say us, I mean all the young people that are in this room and all the young people under our influence, if we want it bad enough. My name is Banky W. I dream of a stronger, greater Nigeria, and I believe we all do, or we wouldn't be sitting in this room. And if we individually and collectively decide that enough is enough, we will make these dreams come true. Thank you very much.
It's now my privilege to turn the microphone over to the Honorable Minister for Youth Development.
Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen on this side of the table, distinguished colleagues, fellow youth. I thank you very much, Sarah, and my assistant Emmanuel here is one of you, very, very youth. Dug up a quote for me this morning as I prepared to come here. It was published in the New York Times of March 2005 by Mahmoud Abaza, chairman of Egyptian Warfare Party. He was quoted as saying, there is such a high percentage of young people who see the future as something totally black. If you open even a small window for them to see the sky, it will be a tremendous force for change. But they have to be able to see the sky. I think this is very, very important. Very, very important to the work that IRS is doing. Very important to the work that all of you here are doing. The youth are not leaders tomorrow, they are leaders today. And it will delight you to know that even my appointment is made possible largely by the demands of the youth. I understand that at a conference in Malabo and elsewhere, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, promised the youth groups that he will give them a youth minister. And at the point that he was putting together his cabinet, I was the youngest in the cabinet. So naturally, I come to work with you. So the essence of that is that the youth have been able to significantly influence even the way the president was thinking about how to compose his cabinet. That makes you the leader today and not tomorrow. One thing that is significantly different from the role that the youth played in the last election and the previous elections is that in the past, when you talk about youth participating in elections, you are likely talking about them participating as thugs, political thugs, and people to be used by politicians to fight their battles and steal the ballots and scatter the election process. But perhaps for the first time in the history of this country, the youth population are able to show that they can take leadership of a process and actually drive it. You are not only a Facebook generation, you are not only a Twitter generation because of the social connections that it allows, but you are able to use these tools, to actively mobilize and drive the entire electoral process. I was a witness to it and I know what happened. So I am saying this to congratulate you and to also encourage you that you are very important to the Nigerian population. You are very important to Nigerian democracy. We have repeatedly argued that therefore, God forbid, if anything happens, like we've seen happen in North Africa and the Middle East, in Nigeria, the entire West African sub-region will be submerged. Therefore, it's in our collective interest to make sure that we cater for the youth. The economic indices that shows growth is not enough to carry everyone. We have to create opportunities that will meet every young person at the point of their needs and make them active economic agents and active social agents in a way that they can have a sense of belonging in the enterprise called Nigeria. I'm quite excited each time I have an opportunity to address young people like this, young leaders actually, because you are, as has been said, you are only a very tiny elite population of the huge youth population that Nigeria has. You are opportune to have a leading role, but that also comes with a huge responsibility. What that means is that you have the power, you have the voice, you have the power to be seen, you have the power to represent, you have the power to speak and be heard. But about 98% of the youth population in Nigeria don't have those powers. What it means, therefore, is that those powers comes with enormous responsibility. It means that you have to be able to exercise leadership in your respective spheres of influence. What we did in the last election was just the beginning. We can do a lot more. In addition to driving the electoral process, in addition to playing part in the electoral process, in addition to mobilizing people to take part in the electoral process, country. That is very, very serious. And that is why we speak of the role that youth can play in driving the accountability process from the bottom. And I think the IRI and NDI, of course, and other development organizations here, and INET, I believe, will continue to improve the capacity of young people, not only to take part in the electoral process, but also take part in improving the quality of governance in our country. Every single person here, you can come to the office at any time. You can come and share ideas with me. You will be welcome. You don't even need to book an appointment. Just come and I say you would like to see me, and the man here will participate. The point has been made here about the need for you to be wary of the danger of co-option. The danger of co-option is very real. In the past, people have seen the role that the youth can play in election. That's to mobilize them, to use them for kind of electoral violence. But the game has changed. They've seen the role that you played in this last election. And people who want to do things, by now, as you sit down, they are also sitting down to see how they can take advantage of the power that they now know you have to suck you in and to digest you and get you to work for them rather than to work for Nigeria. So the important point here is that people will actively come after you and make overtures. The important thing is to ask yourself whether the role that you have to play is different from the role that you need to play, and the role that will secure your future as young people in this country. Like Banky W said, we don't want to deal with in 20 years with issues that we are dealing with today. If you read the history of Nigeria, if you read the books that were written about the First Republic of Nigeria, you'll find that those issues are still the same issues that we are dealing with today, which is unfortunate. So we have opportunity to move forward and do things differently. I will want to mention the, I will end by coming to the issue of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. I'm sure many of you are aware of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. The National Youth Council of Nigeria was founded in 1964 as, and it actually played an active role in Nigeria's decolonization process. But it's unfortunate that today we have like 5 people claiming to be the president of NYCN and claiming to be the secretaries of the NYCN, just like guys in that. This does not demonstrate leadership. And the Ministry of Youth Development has taken a clear position. We will not deal with anyone that describes himself as the president of NYCN until we see a submission of an undertaking by every single worried individual to say they have resolved and they are prepared to register. And like I said to them, if you were born in 1964, when NYCN was formed, then you have no business being here today claiming that you are a youth. So what that means is that the NYCN has existed before you were born. Don't be the generation that destroyed it. And I think this is very clear. And in all of you, I believe, in your respective platforms, if you have a voice, if you have a role to play, drive the process of reform within the NYCN so that we can engage you as an umbrella organization. I thank you very sincerely once again for inviting me here, Sarah, and the IRI. I believe that this is going to be the beginning of a productive relationship between the Ministry of Youth Development and IRI and of course NDI and other people. I will invite Banky to my office when you are able to, because we like to cultivate people who can stand up as role models, who are voice, who can drive our advocacy process. And all of you as well. I mean it very seriously when I say you are welcome to my office. And I look forward to seeing you. Thank you very much.